We thought Matt Gaetz was going to have the power soon to start kicking people around, and then we were relieved that we might not have him around to kick around very much longer, except on cable TV where he can do damage, but hopefully not as much. However, one of the things that got us into this mess is the House Ethics Committee and their actual release of a report on Matt Gaetz, which was due to be released right around now anyway, right before he was announced for his big time cushy job in the administration. He dropped out of Congress so he can take that job. He dropped out of Congress so he can have this report not released, because most times when you're no longer a member of Congress, they don't have to release the report. You can't, there's not releasing on a member of Congress. There's no action beyond that. However, the House Ethics Committee actually had a late vote to release the report against former Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida with allegations of engaging in sexual misconduct, including payment of sex with a 17-year-old girl. This investigation was initiated back in 2021, April is exact, and uncovered substantial evidence of Gaetz's involvement in activities of violating these federal laws and some House rules. Big things in this are the sexual misconduct. That's where all the juice is coming from for why we're really engaged in this one, why it's really something that's really tawdry and juicy. It alleges a lot of sex, but the biggest issue is sex, paid sex, with a 17-year-old girl in 2017 at a party. Now, whether the party was an adult party where the teen was there or a teen party where an adult, Matt Gaetz, was there, is not really stated in the headlines we're doing. Just saying girl at party, it's there. Also, this girl was paid $400 after the act, and she assumed it was for sex. She assumed she was paid for the sex act. And more of these things occurred where he had sexual relations with many women. They got money, and at the end of it, they said they knew the deal. Matt Gaetz was paying them for sex. Also, a lot of that money they were paying wasn't necessarily for sex, though. But it gets worse because he's actually paying them back or paying them to go get drugs, which is bad as well. Just as bad. Equals case bad. All bad. And the obstruction of justice cases are just him saying, I'm not going to cooperate. So since he didn't cooperate, they had to go find other people who testified under oath that these things did happen. They brought in witnesses. They brought in what proof they had, including some receipts, if you will, from Venmo and Cash App. When you say paid somebody for whatever. Now, to be just a cynical, jokey guy, I don't think he put any peaches or eggplants into the thing. But there is evidence that Matt Gaetz did wire money to various people for these acts, not just hand over cash, which may have saved his butt in some of these cases. What's going on in the realm of things going forward? These are serious allegations. Gaetz denies any wrongdoing and labeling the report as defamatory and trying to understand why it got released at this point. He resigned from Congress in November because he didn't want the thing released. He also thought it was going to be Attorney General, and that didn't happen. So yeah, a whole lot of happening in this case. And Matt Gaetz, we still have him to kick around apparently, and we'll still talk about this for a few days. This turned into something where we actually tried to stop it by legal action, and by the time he had legal stuff down, Congress had already posted on their website. It's there. If you want to see what Matt Gaetz allegedly did, and we're still saying allegedly because it's not for a court of law, and he won't be prosecuted from this, go read it for yourself. You can call it fake news, you can call it a smear campaign, but go read it and see what it says. Assume that if a person did all this stuff, they'd be a very, very, very bad person. If you're assuming that Matt Gaetz did this stuff, you would think he's a very, very, very bad person. Let me know what you think about Gaetz, the report, and whether it should have been released. I have some ideas that maybe it should not have been published, even though I want to know the details, based on the fact that Gaetz is no longer a member of Congress. This is not unprecedented, but it's not necessarily necessary, although it happened. So you let us know if you think it was actually necessary.